Welcome to Learn a Little Something with Ronny and Chad. I'm Ronny.
I'm Chaz.
I'm Travis.
And he paused because Travis is here, but he also is the main co-host of the show, so he should have said his name first, but he paused. That's all right.
That's fine.
Listen, you're getting one of these this week because no episode.
No episode.
No epi. It's coming next week, guys.
Yeah, we got any Titan talk before we get it really into this thing? You want to say anything?
I do. I want to say R.I.P. to the boys.
Yeah, we're still mourning the loss, and we're hoping to use this opportunity to get some laughs in, lift the spirits, because I don't want to talk about it. There's no episode this week.
Hold on. I do want to say one thing. McGath went out in a Scout's jacket. How fucking awesome is that?
You did want to say that at the end of the last episode. Yep. Now, we must stop talking because I'm going to get emotional, all right? Going to get emotional. I think it's perfectly fitting that they saw that episode and they're like, you know what? We need to take a week off after that one.
Yeah. That's definitely what it was.
We got to take a breather. Yeah. We got to give Ronny and Chad a breather. I think that's what they said at the studio.
Yeah, I agree. One thing I'd like to throw out there is Falco's Jaw Titan looks like Foghorn Leghorn from Looney Tunes.
And don't worry, I said that on the podcast.
Thank you.
But you're right, though, about that. He does. He looks like
a chicken.
Yeah,
a cool chicken.
A cool one. Thank you for saying a cool chicken.
And would you say that his does he have two jaws or two mouths?
I don't know. I can't.
You can't jump on the side of the fence there.
Two mouths. I agree. I completely agree.
And now I don't want you to answer because you're going to be swayed by what he said because he couldn't just let it lie. He's unconfident about his side, so he couldn't let it lie, and he tried to persuade you into a direction.
Nope. See, look, you've ruined it. I could have been a decision maker right there.
But you said you pretty much answered that you weren't going to answer it. So,
liar.
So yeah, this is just learn a little something. If you want more of these, we've been doing one a week on our Patreon, patreon.com/podcastchronic. You can check it out in the description.
Yeah, find out if I took Ronnie's hoodie or not.
Yeah, there's been all sorts of stories already told on there. We got some more today. As a matter of fact, on the Patreon, we've talked about our adult basketball league that we participated in a couple years.
I hate you for that.
Adult basketball.
Put your hand out. Let Travis slap you. No, other way. Yeah, he tried to do it like a high five, dude, and he deserved it. And it was a good pop. Good.
Thank you.
Good conversion. Anyway, what I was saying...
Let's continue on.
We were in an adult basketball league, okay? We were 3-7. Some people said, if you got to the gym early enough, that we were the best 3-7 team in the league.
That's correct.
I say it once, I'll say it twice.
If you got there early enough.
I'll say it 100 times. I did. We were called... we were called the Podcast Chronicles. We actually sponsored the basketball team.
Yeah, we did.
And I was in the bathroom stall one time, lacing up. All right, I
tied my shoes in the pooper.
I'll actually tell you. You know,
you were in the locker room. We had locker rooms.
The Ronny blow up of 2014 did happen. All right, there's nothing we can do about it now. Okay. And so what happened was we showed up to the gym. We had reversible jerseys. All right. We were in the black jerseys. The other team was in the black jerseys. Turned out we were to be in the white jerseys. So they said, "Hey, we need you guys to flip the jerseys around." Now I was uncomfortable with my body, so I went to the stall so I could flip my jersey around. Everyone else did it on the court, right? I went to the stall, flipped it around.
No, I don't remember this at all, but I'm going to assume it's true.
And while I was in there were two guys using urinals. One said, "Oh yeah, you guys are playing the Podcast Chronicles today, right?" And they're like, "Yeah, they're getting ready to hit the court, but they got to switch their jerseys. They wore the wrong color."
Yeah, they're getting ready to hit the court. They haven't even made the podcast yet. They actually come out with this a year later.
Yeah,
but that's what they're called. Yeah.
And then they said, "Well, I hope whoever there's playing treads carefully. I heard they're the best 3-7 team in the league."
We were righteous.
Yeah. A couple more backgrounds. Both our fathers were on the team.
Yep. Travis's and Ronnie's.
No. Travis and Ronny had shared one father. His name's Lars. You've got a father as well. Now, our father, Lars, he only played a couple games. His highlights was he did take a charge in adult basketball men's league, which was
on
really
Tuesday
cool.
night.
Yep. Then he started complaining about knee issues. He wasn't hitting threes like he thought he was going to, so he definitely stopped showing up to the games. Your father,
Brett.
we'll talk about Brett. What were his highlights?
Brett's highlights were he tackled a guy going up for a layup, a wide open layup.
By the way, that name feels fake. Never met a over 50-year-old guy named Brett, but that's fine for the podcast. Yeah, he tackled a guy, and he was one of our best players. He was definitely one of our best players. He kept showing up to the games, unlike Lars, and we needed him.
That's because Lars took a charge in the second game, and he was out for commission from that
He
charge.
certainly was.
Brett was just so fundamentally sound. It was hard to... I mean, do you not remember the one game where your father absolutely just cooked one guy and the entire opponent's bench was just like, oh my god, this guy just destroyed you with nothing but fundamentals?
Just pivot moves.
He
They called him Pivot. That was his name.
Oh
was
my
Pivot.
god. Brett has got one of the best pivot steps in the game. I've always said
It's
that.
incredible, honestly.
And the boxing out is so crisp.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. He just likes to get rough with you.
He
Jeez.
does.
He watched Pistol Pete's How to Play Basketball so many times, and you can just see it all over the court when he's out there.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, he's not great for minutes. He's got to take a few breaks.
He does.
But he was. So did I. So, anyway, we played a team. And what do you remember about this team?
They were like...
A laundromat.
I don't know which team you're talking about, so I can't describe
The
it.
There-
team that this
there's-
story's about.
The entire...
Which story? I thought we told the story already.
No. This team was...
The DYJMEACP?
Oh my! See, I didn't realize you were going to that. I thought you were talking about the crisis
No.
averted one.
Dude, we're
Which
trying
is-
to get signs with Patreon. We got to bring out the big guns.
Okay. Yes. We played this team that had an older Asian lad, his son, who was obviously a younger Asian lad.
Yeah.
If you go by biology. And then we had a country gentleman. Okay. He was a brute force. He was probably what would you say, 260?
Well, first, I just want to congratulate. We did have some beef with this team, but I do want to congratulate them for being able to celebrate diversity so well on their adult men's basketball league.
Now, we did beat them. Let's go ahead and put that out in the front.
We will say they were one of the three that we did we did manage to sneak up on.
We gave them a walloping.
Yeah,
didn't we?
they underestimated us.
Basketball Chronicles coming soon.
They underestimated us. We did sneak up, tap them on the shoulder, and say, hello, we are here. Welcome to the pod.
Now, did I or did I not almost fight the older Asian gentleman?
Yeah,
Yes.
I did.
you did.
Now, did I call him egg roll? Yes, I did.
No,
Okay.
he didn't say that. He did not say that.
Now, did I only call him egg roll because he threw an elbow at me? Yes. But I did say the words egg roll, and I did say, hey, you smell like an egg roll.
You did not say that. Now, what you did say, and I remember that you said this because, well, the old man, he tattletaled on you. You said, and I quote, because I don't like using this language, you said, fuck you. And
Got
the
him.
guy ran up and down the court saying, he said fuck you, he said fuck you.
He was yelling this as loud as possible. The ref could not have cared any less about what he was saying.
Hey, do you know why? Because it's happening at 8:30 on a Tuesday night,
Yes.
and it's a men's league.
Also, I want to follow up with this. You guys had a very nice meeting afterwards, and I'm not even kidding you. You shook hands, right?
Yeah.
And it was just the heat of competition
Yeah.
that you guys fell on.
Now, if we would have lost, would that have been a good meeting? No. I would have been very salty about it.
Beat the brakes off that guy.
Yeah,
Right.
I would have beat the brakes off of him.
Yeah. Well, I was just, I was trying to make you sound a little bit better since you did make some racist remarks and told an old man, fuck you. But if you wanted to say that it wouldn't have gone that way if we had lost, that's fine. That's, your cross to bear. What do you remember from the game, Chaz? Or Trav?
Well, I'm Travis, your brother.
And I fixed it, so you don't have to say that.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you fix it.
Well,
I
I
thought you
fixed
said
it.
Chad twice. Anyway,
We'll go back to
what
the
I
tape.
remember is our good old friend Brock was on this team, and
And you're not getting to the main story, are you?
Okay, not to the very, very end, no.
All right, just be careful.
Now,
what you're gonna do.
hold on. I do want you to kind of elaborate on this. The old Asian man that I was getting in a fight with,
Yeah.
it was because of a box out. We were trying to box each other out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, was he or was he not being obnoxious to me?
He was rough and tough with you. He's being
Yes.
very obnoxious, but I just wanted
Now,
to
when you
lay
say
the
that,
groundwork that, someone
Now-
who didn't see the game film might have been like, well, wow, Chaz was a little bit...
no, yes, and I want to explain to these people on the game film
Uh-huh.
in basketball, and I respect people like this. I let people call me whatever they want. I let them trash talk me. That is the part of the game, okay? Anybody that cries about it and talks to the press and is like, "Oh, this guy, he said that I was a loser."
Yeah.
Like anybody that cries about that, you're a scumbag, okay? Part of the game is talking trash to each other,
Yeah.
roughing each other up, and then afterwards you shake hands and you say good game.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
that's how it goes, okay? I just want to make that clear because Ronny tried to make me the bad guy in this.
Well, no, I think I was actually trying to help you. I think what I was doing was getting to that end point of where you guys did get to the end and say, hey, good game,
Yeah.
Right.
Exchange handshakes. Now, what do you remember from the game?
So I think I might have honestly jumped the gun, so I'm going to go back and say this.
What a crime.
Yeah, that would have been bad. So I'll go to another part. What I remember from this game is because it happened, we played 10 games. We were 3-7. Very lethal 3-7 team at that. We always had one guy. His name was Carter. And, well, Carter, we'd be lucky if Carter didn't have all of his fouls by the end of the first half.
Oh, yeah.
Because we played 2 20-minute halves, and he
Yeah.
always was fouled out, and he couldn't dribble the ball.
Yeah, he was a guy from work. He was definitely more of a long-distance runner. He was not much of a basketball player, not very coordinated. He did love
But
to
we
get some
like
fouls
to
in.
have him out there to foul people.
Yeah.
And let me tell you.
You got to make the refs call some. You know?
Yeah.
Right. And let me tell you something. They call something because
Because
he
they
would...
were pretty blatant.
Yeah, exactly. He would foul the crap out of someone, and then afterwards he'd throw up his hands like I didn't see anything, and he might as well just punch someone right in the nose.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So, once again, moving into the main story here, it was the 7th or 8th game probably of a 10-game adult men's league season. So there
We had
were
won 2.
So there were 5 people in the crowd. I believe 2 of them were waiting perhaps for the next game. One was just some guy who thought that the gym was open. He was hoping to hoop a little bit. And then 2 was a daughter and just a little boy of Big Country that you referred to.
Daughter, you mean wife?
Wife.
Wife.
Yeah, a wife and a little boy.
And I apologize, I misspoke there. Yes.
A wife and a little
waifu.
boy of Big Country. This was one of the diversified people of the other team. We had the Asian guy, and then we had Big Country.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he had a wife and a daughter in the crowd. So, one of my buddies who I played high school ball with, I had invited him to this league. He's a very nice guy. He's a small lad, you know. He's probably $150. 5'11", $150, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, soaking wet, I might even say.
Yeah, and he's a very nice guy. He would never, do anything wrong to anybody. He might, get fired up in the game and like talk a little smack, but that's just a part of the game. He's not gonna like insult people or anything like that.
And I played 10 games with him, and I saw, some passion, but never any, argument matches or anything like
Yeah.
that. He also, I was always trying to set a pick for him. He wouldn't take him.
No.
So La Asian man.
And it would drive Pivot insane.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because he's all about these fundamentals, and he's not taking your pick.
So I got excited there. I thought Pivot, Chad's dad actually did say something about him not taking my picks.
So La Asian man was he. This is when he was yelling at me, or yelling at the ref. He say fuck you. He say fuck you. And that's what he was saying, Ronnie. And
Right.
I didn't say anything.
he was saying.
It seemed a little bit more stinging coming from your tongue than I remember it.
Right.
Some people might have a problem with it, but alas, we keep moving forward.
I am saying what are you saying?
You were telling a story. I think you're doing
Yes,
a great job
thank
with
you.
it. It did sound something like that. Okay.
It did sound exactly like that. So he was saying that, and he was saying it very loudly. Okay, there was 4 people in the crowd; they could hear this.
Yeah.
So my buddy Brantley.
He's all about the children.
He's all about the children. He goes to the ref. Hey, he's just yelling these curse words. What does he say exactly? He's like, there's kids in the crowd. He's just yelling this.
There's kids in the crowd, and the ref looked and went, well, there's a kid in the crowd.
Yeah. But he was basically saying, why are you letting him just continuously yell this? Like, at least tee him up or something. There's kids in the crowd.
You keep control of the game, ref.
And as he says that, Big Country, we go to the foul line, and Big Country looks at me. He's looking around. He's like, he just talked shit about my kid, didn't he? He just talked shit about my kid. I go, what? He goes, your boy right there, he just talked shit about my kid. I go, no, he didn't. He's like, yeah, he just talked shit about my kid. Did you just cuss out my kid? What did you just do?
You're gonna deal with me. We're like, what? We're just shooting free throws, man.
Yeah. And so the free throws happen. He's like, I'm gonna beat this kid's fucking ass. Talking about my boy Brantley, that's $150 soaking wet.
And I was like, well, I don't know what your foul situation is, but I would use caution. You don't have a very deep bench. You might find yourself into trouble right here at the end of the game.
And in bonus.
And so we end up winning the game, okay?
We pulled it off.
But this guy is still fuming for some reason.
Yeah, the crowd went wild.
For some retarded reason. And he ends up, after the game, I'll let you take it over from here.
I didn't think anything was a stray. You know, here I am. I'm walking out.
So you didn't hear him say that? I guess I was the only one at the free throw line.
Well, I heard some stuff, but then I was like, oh, game's over. He's taking his kid home. Good for him. He does seem like he's, they just seem like a young couple. Maybe they don't have their financial situation completely in the right. There's probably some stress in his day-to-day life. He's probably got some anger management issues he probably did not take care of like we need to in this environment. Talk to someone, people. That's what I'm saying. But at the LALS, I was like, bygones be bygones. Clocks hit 0. The Podcast Chronicles team ended victorious. Let's cut it. Next week, we'll play another game. But so here I am. I'm walking out. Now, Big Country, he was big in country. Ronny is not big and very little bit country.
What would you say? He's about 260?
He was a big boy.
He's about 260, but he's not. He wasn't just like a blob. He was muscled up.
Your height, my husk.
Yes.
Yeah, your height, my husk. So we walk out. It's dark. We're closing the gym. Prime time, some people say. And I see there's some commotion going on. Now, one of Brock, he was on the podcast once. Don't know if you've been around since Brock. He was kind of at the forefront. I saw him and Big Country having some words. Yes.
Well, I raised my hand too early. I thought you were about to get to it because I would like to chip in because I believe out of all three of us, I was the first one out there. I saw Big Country exit the gym before he was having words with Brock.
Mm-hmm. So when did you want to enter the story here?
So what I wanted to insert into the story is I'm walking out. Big Country is just hauling ass out there. He thinks it's the Daytona 500. Just NASCAR race out here right now, and I see him walk out, and he punches a metal pole as hard as he can.
Now, are you sure you're not telling the story wrong?
I'm sure.
No.
I remember there being a kicking of a trash can first.
He did the trash can first.
He might have done that second, but my biggest point was I laughed because he kicked the trash can, and the lid went flying off, and he was this mad. And then he picked the lid up and then put it back onto the trash can like a good Samaritan.
Now that is right.
That is one thing that Big Country does not stand for, is soliciting someone else's property.
I will have to bleep out that first part because you're going to ruin part of the story. I don't want you to get ahead of yourself. And I appreciate you for talking about the trash can because I might have forgotten about that part. I do want to say this is why you are not getting proceeds from the podcast. You got to be better.
Right.
1% better every week is all we're looking for.
But the trash can thing is right.
I would have
forgotten about the trash can story, by the way.
So good. It was kind of like a 1 step forward, 2 steps back, but then also you did a little scoot forward when we weren't looking. So the guy, thank you for putting the lid back on the trash can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he waited until he was outside. It was a nice evening, as I recall.
Yeah.
So we're outside. There's some arguments happening. Now, Brantley is in the rear. We kind of realize what's going on. We're like, here, we got to put some space between you and the Podcast Chronicles team. All right? Now, listen. I'm a lover. I'm not a fighter. I'm not afraid to say where I was in the line of defense. I was right by Brantley. Now, I was a little bit in front of him. He was my teammate. You know, I was putting myself in between him and the situation. Now, Brock, he loves controversy. He was front and center. Chad, where would you like to say you were? I don't want to
Probably
speak
in the
for
middle.
him. In the middle?
Yeah.
And I was in the back, making sure behind Brantley to make sure there was no sneak attacks. That's where I was.
Okay.
All right. I don't know what that says about you, so I'm actually pretty good about where I was.
Yeah, I was behind Brock. But the thing about me and Big Country, during the game, me and him were cool. I had a conversation with him, which was like that. Me and him almost knew each other. It was really strange.
Yeah.
So I was in a weird spot where I was like, well, me and Big Country just had a great conversation during the game. No problems whatsoever. Why is there problems all of a sudden?
Yeah, why the hostility?
Yeah.
So we walk out. Big Country's going, yeah, man, he was talking about my kid. He was talking about my kid. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know me. You gonna talk shit on my kid? You talk shit to me. And we're going, whoa, what? He didn't say anything about your kid. He's like, yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. And Brock is like, dude, he didn't say anything about your kid. We're good. Like, and he makes a run towards him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, I'm not ready for this. Thank God, the lines of defense, they slowed him down. Now, Big Country's team, here's the other, they also had a black guy.
Yep.
Good for them.
Please clap.
One of the most diverse teams in the league.
They were.
They also had pink jerseys. So good for them.
They had a lady, too.
They did, well, in
Well,
the
we
stands.
think.
There was a wife in the stands. So anyway, we block off his first attack. He's still pretty wired up.
We
used our
Pokemon move, Protect.
Yeah.
we used Harden.
It was mostly his teammates holding him back, but we defended the first attack, and our special move rose 15 points.
Which was, he didn't talk shit to you
Right.
or your kid.
Because the problem about Big Country is the whole time Ronny was scheming. I was looking around for weapons. You know, I'm not ready to just go fisticuffs with this guy, but I was using my smarts to prepare to get us out to evade this situation.
Love that about you.
I'm a very good Pokemon player. I was trying to see if we could run away. There was no running away. We were stuck in the fight. Right?
Couldn't get away from battle.
Couldn't teleport. I hadn't evolved
There you go.
my Abra yet. Okay?
Right.
So,
Right.
Not until Alakazam.
exactly. This guy keeps going. Brock finally said, what?
Nothing. Keep going.
What the fuck was that look? Quit picking your nose and say it, Chad.
Well,
What was
I
that
think
look?
there was an Abra. I think you said something else. But anyways, I said Alakazam. I don't know if it was the proper evolution, but
it goes
going.
to Kadabra, but you know.
Kadabra, then Alakazam. Keep going.
You're the one that looks foolish. Why did you guys look at me like I got something wrong?
Well, because we were waiting for you to correct it, but you didn't. But keep going.
Oh, no, listen, guys, I know it goes abracadabra, and then for some reason you have to trade online to get. I just didn't want to go Big Country on you guys, so I let it pass.
Okay.
I appreciate you.
Fuck Pokemon.
Pokemon gotta trade.
This guy
them
stays
all.
hot. Eventually, Brock says the famous words. He goes, dude, calm down. Big Country stops. He stops going forward. He looks to Brock, dead in the eye, and goes, did you just call me a pussy?
Oh, Big Country.
And Brock says, what? And then we all just go, oh, this guy's crazy.
Yeah.
That was the first time we were like, well, he's got some anger management issues. But when he said that, we went, oh, this guy's crazy. And his teammates kind of kept pulling him away. And he was like, I'll see you guys next week. So we were a little scared to show up for the next game.
And this is when he turned and punched the metal pole.
Yep. He walked to the parking lot. We heard a loud ting. That was the sound of knuckles meeting a metal light pole.
And didn't we see him wearing something around his hand the next time we saw him at the gym? He had like a cast thing on. Which, reasonably so. The dumbass.
It made one heck of a noise.
Yeah, he punched the shit out of this metal pole.
It made one heck of a noise.
What a fucking lunatic, man.
Yeah, I bet
What a
he's not in
lunatic.
jail right now. I bet he's probably not in jail.
That guy, I would almost put money on that he knew that nothing was ever said about his kid, but he just wanted some excitement in his life.
I guess. Well, we didn't know what he'd been through. He made a good point.
Yeah,
there.
he did.
That's
Oh,
very
you
true.
are right. I forgot about that point.
Oh, wow.
He did say that, and we technically didn't know what he's been through.
But speaking of crazy people, you had a run-in today.
I did? Talking about with a lady? Did I not talk about that last?
Dude, you didn't tell the full episode.
I didn't. I did. I had a crazy run-in today with the most lunatic of a person I could have ever been behind, or I could have ever been in front of in a driving scenario. So I'm driving home from work. Okay, I'm going to the penthouse. We're recording today, so I've obviously got to go to the penthouse.
You got to set it up. There's a grueling process.
So there's some back roads that I go through. Speed limit's about 45 at some points, and then it even drops down to 35 because the back roads are so windy, so turny that, like, I mean, it's just such a back road. I don't know if you Georgia folk probably don't know what I'm talking about, but
You
no,
Georgia folk
you
probably don't
non-Georgia
know.
folk.
Sorry.
Yeah, I
You
mean, that was
non-
terrible. Hey, pick up the T a little bit.
You non-Georgia folk have zero idea what I'm talking about, but there's some windy roads, okay?
Nothing's better like hitting a back road on a Friday afternoon after work.
Chilling on a dirt road.
My dirt road
Laid
diary.
back, chilling like I'm George Stroke.
One of
road.
Chad's idols is Luke Bryan.
Oh, God. Yeah, he is. He is. I like the way he,
He also
wears
likes
his jeans.
Mitchell Tenpenny's Alcohol You Later.
Actually.
But anyways, I'm driving this back road. I take a left, okay? I start going the miles per hour that the speed limit allows me to go. And there is a car that is riding my ass all of a sudden right behind me. I'm like, what the hell? It's like, what could this be? It's like, is this a DD? A drunk driver?
At 4
Yeah.
o'clock?
Is this one of those drunk drivers at 4:15 p.m. on a Friday afternoon?
Yeah. So I keep driving. I'm like, this is really strange. I've got a car in front of me as well. They're approximate, 2 car lengths in front of me, like any driver would do. Okay.
Right.
Because I'm a reasonable driver.
Not really the way you're supposed to do it, but that's reasonable.
What's the way you're supposed to do?
I believe it's 1 car length per 10 miles per hour you're going.
This guy knows
I don't know
his
what that
road
means.
laws.
Anyways,
You don't know what that means?
what I'm trying to say is that there's a car in front of me that's like approximately 2 cars ahead of me in length,
All right.
and I'm about to take a right. That's what I'm trying to say.
The way you're behaving, it's as if people learn their driving knowledge just to pass the test and then forget it all.
Well,
I'd
do
starting to think this
you want
lady's
to
on the
ruin this?
wrong.
Yeah, do you want to ruin the story or not?
I'd like to see how close you park to a stop sign. But it's 2.
2 car lengths away.
Too close.
So I start to take a ride on this road, and this car behind me just starts zooming, trying to get in the right turning lane before it's even a thing.
Yeah.
Before it's even a thing, I'm like, what the fuck? And I turn around, and then I have my right blinker on. I get in the lane, and this person, who ends up being an older lady, starts banging on her steering wheel. Just banging on it. Like, fuck! Ah! I can tell just going crazy. Like, they're just pissed that I'm taking this road that's going to be 25 miles per hour
Oh my
because
God.
it's a crazy back road.
You've inconvenienced them greatly.
Yeah.
You did intent your signal? You did signal your intent?
Oh, I did. They're just mad that I'm going down this road. That's all it is. They're mad that they're going to have somebody in front of them down a 30 mile per hour road.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I take this right and I go. This lady bangs on her steering wheel and flicks me off a little bit. She does it real quick. And I go, oh, no, this is
With thumb or without?
with thumb because it was very quickly.
Okay.
It was banging the steering wheel and it was like a quick.
Listen, I just hate that. That is not classy at all. If I'm mad at someone, I go back to the olden days times and I bite my thumb at you. I
Yeah.
don't flick you off. I know the Romeo and
this right here.
Juliet and I bite my thumb at you. That's what I do.
So
Okay.
I take the right and I go, well, she's getting brake checked. So as soon as I take the right, I start going down this road and I brake check the fuck out of her. I'm talking, she is probably a foot away from hitting my truck. And at this point, I don't care. So she brakes. She slams her steering wheel again, starts beating it with both hands.
Yeah.
And then flicks me off again. Like,
were you
losing
concerned about
her
the
shit.
steering wheel at any point?
I was like, holy shit, is she going to be able to turn this thing?
Yeah.
I didn't know what was going to happen. I was like, and then after I saw her do that, I go, oh, this is a lunatic that's behind me.
It sounds like it. First of all,
Yeah.
it sounds like it. Was she banging at a steering 10 to 2?
10 to 2. Like this.
Well, that's good. Although I know there's been some discussion about what the correct time is to hold the steering wheel, but alas, I'll save that for a later
She could
date.
just be listening to The Rumbling by...
She could
Sim.
and just be head banging. But I, as soon as I saw that, I go, oh, wow. I have a lunatic behind me. This is going to be an interesting ride. So I decide to, I speed up a little bit at that point. I'm like, okay, I don't want to get hit. She tries to pass me. I speed up even more. I go, no, ma'am, you're not gonna. No. So I speed up more. She gets pissed off at that, swerves back in the lane. She's like going off the road on the right side, left side. It's insane. I have never seen a lunatic driver like this before. She is losing her mind that I'm in front of her when I'm going like 5 to 10 miles per hour over the speed limit.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane. So then I slow down, piss her off some more. She tries to go around me again, speed up again. I go, no, ma'am.
Wow.
No, ma'am. You're going to learn, bitch.
You're playing with her.
You're going to learn, bitch. And that's when I look in my rearview mirror and I go, I'm about to fuck you up. I go like that. I say it in the slowest manner possible. I'm about to fuck you up. Now, she's in her late 60s, I would assume. At this point in time, I would have gotten out of my car and I would have beat the fuck out of this lady. That's how ridiculous she was being.
And at this point, she hasn't seen the size of your legs, so she's probably a little bit concerned, I would imagine.
Yes. She's like, maybe, and then if she does see them, she's like, well, maybe he can jump a little bit. He'll jump over me.
Now, when you first get on those deer legs, you're a little bit shaky, so you wouldn't have looked good, but it still would have been...
I was wearing long pants, though.
Okay, that would have helped.
Okay.
Good call.
Yeah, and so I keep driving. She sees me say that. As soon as she sees me say that, I thought there's no way she would see me say it in the rearview mirror, but you know how you can see sometimes people saying things?
She probably just saw you say something.
She saw me say something and instantly flicks me off.
Yeah, she probably realized there was a dialogue. What was said, she probably didn't know exactly, but she understood that there was, something going on.
So I'm like, okay, fuck you. So I ride down this whole entire road, get to the end, take a right. Now I'm on a busy road.
And I know this road. I've driven on it many a times before. It's going to take a good 4 to 5 minutes to get from point A to point B before you make another turn.
Yeah.
So I'd make this turn. She follows me again. Now I'm behind like 7 cars. It's a busier highway. Mm-hmm. And it's still kind of a back road, honestly.
So I'm sure she, saw the air in her ways and backed off.
No. She rides my ass even harder. Even harder. This lady is fucking crazy. Okay? So I keep driving. We get to a gas station point. She starts to turn her left blinker on. I'm looking in my rearview mirror this entire time. Like I'm literally just looking in the mirror, looking forward, looking in the mirror, because I don't know if she's gonna hit me or not. I'm telling you, she's that crazy. I'm assuming she's about to ram into me at any moment,
and then drive off probably.
And
what
then
would you have
drive
done then? What would you have done then?
Oh, I would have fought, dude. I would have chased her down, and I would have been scared for her well-being.
Well, I hate to hear that because I'm like worried about your safety.
At one point, I said, if she does hit me or if she does try to pass me, I'll try to ram her off the road. There was a point where there's a river / creek, and I was like, I would love for her to go head first in that creek.
Right.
Okay, so
it sounds like everyone had a level head, so that's...
We keep driving. Should we get to the gas station? I see her turn her left blinker on. She flicks me off again. After me and her for 5 to 10 minutes have not done anything.
Right.
Flicks me off again. So I lay on my horn for probably 10 seconds, roll down my window, put my arm out the window, flicker off, watch her go. I basically stop in the middle of the road and watch her go left into a gas station and still my horn and my middle finger just up. And I was like, I definitely should have turned around and pulled in there now.
So were you mad at that point because she had been driving so recklessly, but then you were kind of mad that she did, in fact, signal her intent to get into the gas station?
Well, she flicked me off and signaled her intent to get in the gas station while riding my ass that entire way after we were on a busy highway anyways. So it was like, what the fuck are you even doing?
Yeah.
You're going to ride my ass this whole way there and almost hit me.
And then now signal your intent?
Yeah, but while you're doing that, you're flicking me off.
It was kind of like she was signaling her intent two ways. She was making a left, and she was saying, fuck you, buddy.
Yeah. And so I should have turned around. I really should have pulled in a driveway, turned around, and pulled in that gas station and gave her a new one. And to be honest, if I was a woman, I would have gotten out of that car and I would have grabbed her hair and put it in the pavement. What an old hag, man.
Yeah. Road rage is healthy, folks. You got to have a little bit of it to keep your emotions.
But the moral of the story, we went to eat dinner, okay, later on.
The moral of the story. Here's really the good part you can take away from the story, He got a little crazy there for a second, so if there's going to be anything you take away from the story, it's this.
Okay,
listen up.
Here it is. She was wearing square sunglasses, very big square sunglasses, okay?
And I hate those square sunglasses.
And I hate them. And I knew...
I'll see Instagram hosts sometimes, and they're like, oh, wow, I see why you have hundreds of thousands of followers and you're being sponsored by Celsius, one of Chad's old favorite drinks. But then I see them wear those square sunglasses, and I say, nope. Not for me.
Yep.
Not for Ronny. And then I just go to another food page and watch people make recipes.
But as she turned in that gas station, I called Ronny and I was like, dude, you're never gonna believe this. And tell them what you said. Before I even told you the whole story, tell them what you said. So
when he started saying, I was like, I wonder where he was at. Because he sent me a Snapchat first, which was also, questionable road etiquette to be dealing with such a road raging incident and then be like, well, I've got to put my phone out and document this. And that is exactly what he did. He said, she might be getting ready to run into me, that's why I just wanted to document it. And I was like, I wonder where he is, because, I drive to and from work every day. Sometimes you get into these little skirmishes, not to this extent. So I kind of asked some further questions, and this car kind of sounds familiar. I'm like, I've gotten into some similar stuff right at that same road. And then when you say she had square sunglasses, I go, well, buckle your seatbelt, Chad. One, because you're in a road rage incident, I'm worried about your safety. And two, I've ran into the same exact lady. Now, Ronny, I like to keep my levels a little bit lower. I'm not ready to snap on people. So what I did, I got to the roundabout and I just made an extra loop. I let her on her way. But yeah, she's crazy.
Oh, she's a crazy person. I just love the fact that you've ran into her before. It's awesome.
And it was the same exact thing. I took a right. She was mad that I took the right, and she was slamming her steering wheel. I didn't get the finger, but I did get some hostility.
And I can't believe there's people like that. She was just mad that somebody was turning on that road. That's all it was. It wasn't like, oh, you were going very slow. No, she's just mad that somebody's in front of her.
She just wanted to go 60 on this little tiny road.
And dude, at the end of that road, there was a person on the tractor. Yeah. And when I sped up a little bit to try to get away from her, I was like, oh, if she was going down this road, she might have hit that person.
Well, and make the stakes a little bit even more higher and say something about a kid somewhere.
There was a kid on a tractor down that road.
There was a kid, too?
Yes, on the tractor. He was driving the tractor in the middle of the road. It could have been deadly, man. Could have been deadly.
Oh, my God. So then, your gears were churning.
Oh, yeah.
We get to dinner. We're sitting there. And your face gets very serious. And I go, oh, my God, what's going on? You go, dude. I say, what? I am 90% sure the woman I was telling you about is sitting in that booth right there.
90%.
I think I said 85, but we'll go 90.
You tell part of the story, Travis. Stay involved.
Well, I don't want to interrupt it. I wasn't a part of this first part, but here I go. I'm on my way. So I'm sitting there, and Chas just goes and says, I am 90% sure that is that bitch that was on my ass earlier today.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, dude, no way. I turn around and I look at this lady, and I'm not trying to be mean because apparently, I look at her, And
Well, Chaz was doing some controversial things earlier in the episode, so I think you're pretty clear to say whatever you want at this point.
Right. Well, I mean, she just looks like that kind of a woman.
She looked like a very
Yes.
vile woman.
Yes.
She did.
She did.
You could tell that she smoked some filthy ciggies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, she
knew
can't
her
get
way
enough of
pa-
them.
Yeah, she knew her way around a pack of ciggies.
Oh, yeah. So, anyway, she's sitting there, and I just see that Chaz is, like, studying her face. Like, if I told him, if you can draw this lady exactly how she looks, just off of memory, tonight,
Yeah.
I'll give you $500. That's how hard he was staring at her. He was just, like, studying her.
He was being
And,
very obvious.
And I was like, wow,
I
dude,
was.
like, you're seriously passionate about this. And, you know, we're just sitting there, and it's a boys' night out, and he's so drawn back by this. He said, I can't take it anymore. I'm going out to the parking lot to see if I see this car.
And he got up from the
And
table.
he got up from the table, walked outside, and he's gone. You know, I'm figuring, he'll be gone for, 30 seconds. It doesn't take long to scan over a parking lot unless he sees a car like it. Then he goes to get a closer look. This guy is gone for like 4 minutes, and I turn around and I see him like go past the front door of the restaurant like 3 times.
Which left us in an awkward position because we were 3 people at a table. We were on the same side. We
Oh.
looked a little, questionable.
Right, but hey, that's okay if that's how it is.
We owned it. I
Yeah.
mean, we run this restaurants. We were fine.
Right,
but I will
absolute-
say he did leave us in that precarious situation. And if you ever want to question about whether or not someone's serious about something,
Right.
listen, if they're sitting at a restaurant and they go, I got to go scan the parking lot for a second.
Yeah. That sounds more serious when you think
So-
about it.
That's how you know.
So next thing I know, Chaz is coming back in. He sits down and with the most straight-faced, big-eyed, just huge eyes looking at us, he goes, guys, I'm 90% sure this is her. And he said, I know you don't like percentages, Ronnie, but I'm 90% sure that
And
this is her.
do you want to know my favorite part after that? I go, oh my God, did you see her car? And he says, no.
And then, which, I will say this. Chaz did not make this point, but Ronnie did make the point for Chaz, saying, well, she is with a man.
Mm-hmm.
So he could have been driving.
Yep.
And
Could have been a different vehicle.
different vehicle. And so, we move on topic. We're sitting there, we're eating.
Right.
And
It
then
was
I
just
thought,
I've never seen someone who went out to try and confirm a suspicion, not have that suspicion confirmed, and come back more positive than ever.
right. And so we're sitting there, we're talking, we're having a good time. Things have moved on. I'm not thinking anything of it anymore. And then I look over at Chaz, and she's got this look on his face, and he's like, you good, man? Dude, I've got to ask her. I'm going to ask this lady if she had a bump in with a truck today.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's a very weird thing to ask. And you know how some, us Georgians can be. Some of us old country boys back down in the woods over here can get a little bit out of hand. Some guys have guns, and they probably shouldn't have guns. So you're like, I'd make sure that old boy over there doesn't have a gun.
Yeah, I had 2 main concerns about the confrontation.
Absolutely.
I had seen, now Chaz was prefacing by saying, I am going to be super calm about it. I just want to have a little talk. I was like, okay, all right. But if she's the true witch that we think that she might be, that's going to be elevated.
Immediately.
And if you go zoned in on her, there's a man sitting right there. But my main concern, he was getting ready to go, and we just got our food. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, I hope he didn't say anything while we got our food, because if something happens, we get kicked out of this place. I've been eating soup and salad these past couple days. I really want this burger right now.
Yeah.
Right, absolutely.
That was my big... Once we'd finished up and he was like, all right, I'm going to go talk to her, I was like, all right, well...
That's fun.
I was like, well, we'll see where it goes. It could be a good podcast.
Right. And so, I'm like, wow, those are all good points. And then Chaz says, yeah, you're right. I'm not going to say anything till we leave. So then we once again move the topic. Our waiter comes back, and he's asking Chaz if he'd like another beer. He says, yeah, we're talking about something else. A couple minutes pass, and then Chaz looks at me and you and goes, all right, guys, how much would y'all pay me if I said something to that lady?
Right.
And at that point, I think to myself, nothing, because you're clearly going to say
Yeah,
something.
that
to this
was my
lady.
thought, too. I didn't want to say a number because I was like, well, you seem pretty
Yeah.
Yeah, you seem pretty confident that you're going to say something to her, so I
Right.
don't really want to put any of my money out there.
Right. So then, next thing I know, it's time for us to leave, and Chaz looks over at us like he is about to just annihilate everyone in this place. He goes, "I'm going to let you guys go first."
Which was a nice move. And also, don't forget the part where during all this, we were also being waited on by a below average waiter, but he was a very nice guy. And he was like, "Oh, I watched Attack on Titan too." I was wearing some merch.
Right.
And Chad, while he was, getting worked up about this lady, he did not miss an opportunity to network. He was like, "By the way, me and my friend Ronny, we run a below average podcast. You should check it out."
Right.
And the guy did not seem very interested.
Well, you know what?
He did not.
Before we left, too, I had my receipt, and first of all, Mr. Moneybags decided that we didn't live in 2022 and pulled out a $100 bill. Haven't seen one of those in a long time.
Okay, Mr. Cash.
Yeah, seriously. Cash is king. Anyway,
Chad Cash.
Anyway,
Chart.
I thought, all his money, I thought he paid in Doge, honestly. But anyway, he steals my receipt so he can write at the Podcast Chronicles on anything.
You wrote at the Podcast Chronicles? What did you write?
No, I put he said type the name of your podcast.
Well, he didn't say type it because
that
that
was on a
would...
receipt.
He said type it with your hands. So I put the Podcast Chronicles.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Well,
It's at Podcast Chronic. People follow us on Twitter.
That's Twitter, but he just said just type the name of your podcast.
I just wanted to make sure.
So I
that you
typed it
didn't
with
make
my pen in hand.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, Chaz lets us go first. I'm walking. Ronnie's behind me, and we're going out of this restaurant here.
Mm-hmm. Chad's has yawned for the 17th time. It's really ridiculous the rate he's going. It's very annoying. But I will give him some credit here. He opened it up very casually, very confidently. I heard him say, he put on this voice. He went, "Excuse me, this might be kind of a weird question, but..." And then I got out of earshot. I didn't hear the next part. Chaz, please, to try and refrain.
This is kind of a random question right now. That's how I said it.
Okay, sorry, I said weird.
Yeah, it's random.
But I was wondering.
I was wondering if you could pick us up. No, I said. I said, but did you happen to have a little road rage with a silver Toyota today? And she goes, "Oh, no. No, I would never. I would never have road rage." And
Did she try and go like sweet old lady on you?
She did, which makes me think she was almost lying. Now, does that make you kind of think that her going, "Oh, no, I would never do that"?
When you first said that, yes, but the way you described the witch from earlier and the witch that I saw, she would not have had the mental fortitude to be like, "Oh, no.
Yeah, you're right. She would have admitted to it, been like, "Yeah, I dealt with that fucking cocksucker." Yeah. That's what she would have said.
Exactly.
You're right. So she did say, she was like, "Oh, no. She's like, I would never." I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I wanted to ask because, I had an incident earlier and you kind of looked like the lady. I wanted to apologize." I played it off like that. Even though if she would have said yes, Ronnie,
what would you have done?
I fooled you and Travis like a book. I would have cussed that bitch out.
He would have.
I would have told her, "Hey, you trying to fucking kill some kids because that's how you were driving."
Did you see the one on the tractor?
I said, "Yeah, that's what I said." I said, "You're lucky that you're not that lady because she almost hit somebody on a tractor." And I said, "Next time you do that, you're gonna get these fists, and they're going straight to your fucking noggin, bitch."
Right, your noggin.
But instead, you patted the table really cute like, and you went, "I'm so sorry. Enjoy your meal."
I did. I said, "I'm so sorry to bother you. Enjoy your the rest of your day."
And the second you walked out, you know what she did?
Pause. The craziest thing of all of it, he started to walk away, and then he put one finger in the air, did a double take, went back around, grabbed a pen, and wrote at Podcast Chronicles on her hand.
And you know what was crazy after that? The second he walked out the door, I turned around and I saw her. She reached into her purse and pulled out square sunglasses and put them on. I was like, "Oh wow, that was her."
So
She pulled the old switcheroo on you.
everyone be careful not to. I have one.
Be careful.
That's
Be
a very
careful.
good story. My other favorite road rage moment was from my father, Lars.
Oh, this is a good one. I got another Lars driving story after this.
He picked up. It was when I was in high school, but I wasn't driving yet. And we got out early after our midterms, okay? So he's driving. We're going to go get some lunch. And on the way there, we're stopped at a red light. And it's one of the red lights that you got to be... The green only stays green for like 5 seconds. You got to be on the ball.
Yep.
And we had already waited a few rotations. Now, Lars, he'll get mad. But he's still lighthearted at the moment. But he does make it... He's like, oh my God, these stupid kids getting out. Like, this is way busier than it normally would be. But he's still fine. So he's a good Samaritan. Eventually, we get pretty close to being able to make it. But there's this poor woman who's got her window rolled down. It does look like she's on the phone. And she's been stuck there for a few... No one's letting her out because it's such a short light. They want to make the light. Lars is in the spot. And he looks at her. And he's got his window down. And he gives her a wave. And she doesn't go. And she doesn't go. So he gets aggressive with the wave. She still doesn't go. She's just yapping on her phone. She's been here for 5 straight red lights. Well, so now my dad, he starts windmilling her. He's like, come on, let's go. And she goes, this is how I hear it even today in my brain. She goes, I'm going. And my dad, who still has, his high school kid in the car, but Lars is not the guy to cuss around his child. He goes, well, hurry up, you stupid witch.
So epic.
Did she go?
Yeah, she went.
So my story is we live in Georgia, as the people that we sit in their ear canals, they know that. Well, we're Dogs fans. We're going to a Georgia game, and there was a time in my life and Ronnie's life, where Ronnie just couldn't ride up front with Lars. He just didn't like Lars's driving. Thought he was too aggressive. It would worry him.
I've told the story before. I was in a wreck, and it became way bigger of a deal. Like, my car was totaled. They made me go to court. I had to go to, like, a driving ed thing. It was just this huge deal. And so my dad would he'd wait for the last second to brake, and it would stress me out. Now, keep going, Trev.
And so it would stress him out so bad to the point to where Ronnie was in the front and I was in the back, and Ronnie was so worried about it to where Lars had enough, and he said, all right, Ronnie, trade seats with Travis. Travis, get in the front.
Yeah, we were on our way to a Georgia football game, and we were running a little bit behind, and so the aggressiveness of my dad's driving became very apparent.
Yeah.
And so
Which happens if you're running a little behind.
So, he doesn't stop to let us switch. While we're driving down the road, Ronnie crawls in the back seat while we're going down the highway, going 65. Then I crawl up in the front. We switch places. And no longer than 10 minutes later, my dad is just driving and hauling it down the road. And he's brakes a little bit too late. And he starts slamming on the brake to where he's going to hit this car, and he drives off into the median of the highway. And Ronnie's in the back, and he's like, Dad!
No. I don't even think I said anything. I was just sitting there.
That's right.
I was sitting there bracing myself because I thought we were flying into the back of the car. And as we're sliding in the median, my dad, we're still moving. My dad goes, we picked up my uncle at this point. He's in the car as well. He goes, everyone look at Ronnie. He's scared.
He said, Ronnie's scared.
He said, everyone look at Ronnie. He's scared. And I popped off. I was like, Dad, we're in a median. What are you talking about?
Everyone look at Ronnie. He's scared. That's the greatest line he could have said.
And I was petrified.
What did Travis do in that? Did he laugh or what?
Let's see. Let's see what he says. He acted cool in the moment.
I really don't remember what I said at that time. I'm sure at that point in time I tried to just play it cool. I was probably terrified. I probably picked on Ronnie afterwards a little bit, but I'm sure I was probably terrified.
I remember him being very mean that day because I was freaking out. And he's like, oh, he's doing fine, Ronnie. He's driving fine.
I will say I forgot about this incident. I did have one incident where I did get a gun pulled on me at a little road rage incident, and that was when I was pulling out of a gas station, and this guy with a big truck and a long trailer at the end, like a trailer like horses get in.
Okay.
I don't believe that there was any horses in it, but it was one of those enclosed tall trailers. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He was pulling in left, but he was trying to make a U-E in the gas station left.
What an idiot.
But I couldn't see. I was trying to take a left out of the gas station. Now I couldn't see cars coming from the left. So why would I take a left out of there if I couldn't see cars coming?
Right.
If I decided to take a left, I could be hit.
Exactly.
T-boned directly under the driver's side. So I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Because he tries to make the U-E, but half of his trailer is blocking my vision where I can't even see.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, are you fucking kidding? I was like, I can't see anything. And so I roll down my window while he's trying to U-E, to my left. He's so close to me. I don't know how he doesn't realize that I can't see trying to take a left. And I go, fuck you. And he rolls down his window. And he just holds a pistol up like this. Doesn't point it at me or anything, but just holds it up like this. Just like that.
Right, yeah.
People can't see it, but he's just holding it up in the window like this.
Yeah, basically he's got his finger, was it in a trigger hole or was it...
No. He just holds it up like
right.
this. Like just showing that he has it, and I go, oh shit. So then I just drive. I just take the left without even seeing if cars are coming. Luckily a car wasn't coming. And I made it through.
You would have a nice day.
Yeah, have a nice day, sir.
I love horses.
Nowadays, I'd pull one out and I'd say, all right, let's go. And we'd start shooting. But
Right.
but back then, I was probably 18 or 19. I was like, okay.
You weren't about it. Then.
Everybody
No.
look at Chaz. He's scared.
Yeah, everybody look at Chaz. He's scared.
If my dad was in the car, that's what he would have said.
He would have said... That's the greatest line ever. I can't wait to say that to my kids when I never have them.
Oh my god.
Well,
all right, well, I think moral of the story, as Chaz said earlier, is be careful out there on them streets, people.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It can be crazy out there.
Oh, yeah.
You guys got anything else?
Oh, wow. I do, actually.
Oh.
I wanted to talk about craziest videos that we've seen.
Oh, yeah. Rubs a dub. Rubs in the Discord.
Rub-a-tubs dubs, yeah. You asked about the craziest videos we've seen.
Great friend of ours.
He's a great guy. I think his name, what is his name? Rubs, and his last name Lack? Rubs Lack?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's bounced back and forth.
Well, Mr. Lack,
He doesn't want to lock himself into an identity. He wants to be whoever he wants to be.
He asked about the craziest videos we've seen. I would say the craziest video I've seen is... I sent this to Ronnie one day with no...
Yeah.
There was no warning or no trigger, anything like that.
Thanks you for
I think
that.
it was a bombing in like Syria or something. Dude, it was something. It was something wild. Anyways,
it was when there was like that nuclear blast or like
I don't remember where it was. Do you?
Yes, it was. I can't remember
That is
where it was,
not
but it was
cool to
when
defend.
like the nuclear reactor exploded.
Yeah,
in
when
one
yeah,
country. I can't think of
wherever
which
the
one it was.
reactor exploded, there was a guy on the front lines with a video camera videoing this mess, and there was people blown in half. Okay, he was walking by. He was crying in the video. There was people blown in half. There was guts everywhere.
That's
there was
awful.
brain matter all over the ground.
So I watched approximately 3 seconds of that, and then it said, "Hey, why the fuck did you send this to me?"
And I don't know how I even saw it. It just popped up on my
dude.
Twitter.
That's messed up.
Yeah. The other things that I can think of right off the top of my head that Chaz has sent me via Twitter before, there was one man who was clearly on some sort of crack cocaine or something along those lines, had climbed up the top of a crane and then proceeded to fall and smack against the concrete. Also, there was one, it was someone free climbing on a rock wall who then fell and snapped their arm. And then the final straw, when I decided I would no longer open up his Twitter DMs, was there was a man who looked to be homeless. He was missing both of his hands. He just had nubs. He was entered into a lady who was quite big, and they were at a bus stop
In the middle of like New York
in the
City.
middle of the road, and he was just pounding away. And then he did.
And then she kept falling because he couldn't hold on to her because he didn't have any hands.
Right, he was missing some fingers from phalanges that would make that process easier.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to have any further kids, so he did pull out. And I saw what became a very soft, a very flaccid penis.
After he splooged.
Start to erupt.
That's awful. Don't send that.
So those are some of the worst things I've seen on the internet. All from Chaz. So I would hate to know what all he's seen. But I think that pretty much wraps it up on that light note.
Can we end singing a song?
What would you like to sing?
I don't know. What's a song that all three of us can?
that's SpongeBob.
Well, we already done that one.
Yeah, we did that on the Patreon.
So what's
The last place? So shameless, guys. The reason is we're saving up to buy a camera to do some video content. If you like this episode,
we're going to
patreon.com/podcastchronic. Come on. We're also going to put out a poll soon. I did want to mention this. Probably on Patreon and for public to try and figure out maybe what show we're doing next. We haven't exactly worked out what rules. The Patreon votes will count for more probably. We got to figure out how to do it. We haven't talked about it.
We are going to do behind the scenes as well. We're going to go to an apple orchards soon.
We've got big plans to go to an apple orchard.
That's going to be great.
And behind the scenes, coming soon.
I've been Ronnie.
I've been Chazzy.
I've been Travis.
And what song would you like to sing?
Let's sing Fireflies by Owl City. That's a good one.
I'd like to make myself believe
that
Wait, I thought we were going to harmonize.
Earth.
I don't want to go like one at a time. I would like to harmonize.
Slowly, it's hard to say that I'd rather stay awake when I'm asleep. 'Cause everything is always as it seems when I fall. 'Cause I get 1,000 hugs from 10,000 lightning bugs as they try to teach me how to dance.
Chaz.
Do.
A foxtrot above my head.
I don't know
The hill that's in my head.
A sock hop beneath my bed.
This disco ball is hanging by a thread.
Thread. To 10 million vibes. That's weird.
5 minutes later of us singing.
I wouldn't have guessed that I knew all the words to this song. But I found Owl City when I was in sixth grade. And I thought it was the craziest thing I had ever heard.
I was in 4th grade.
I like to make myself.
Probably 3rd grade.
Wait, finish off slowly. The planet Earth turns slowly. It's hard to say that I'd rather stay awake when I'm asleep. 'Cause nothing is ever as it seems.
Doctors impersonating me!